Why are there so many mental hurdles when it comes to a warm-up? Let's discuss. When it comes to performing optimally, it goes without saying that the body has to be warmed up physically. This is a big misnomer that a lot of people have a tendency to miss, and that is just because you might be sweating profusely because it's hot and it's humid and you're sitting in the sun does not mean that your body is metabolically warmed up. Well, the question that came in was, well, mentally I get spooked that if I do a warm-up, I'm going to actually make myself tired, or I may cramp, or I may, overheat. Well, let's take a look at the mental aspects associated with each one of those. If you're concerned that you're going to cramp, I want you to weigh yourself before and after every workout and figure out what your sweat rate is. If you're losing more than 2%, you're officially dehydrated. By the way, here on YouTube, go to the description box below and go to my resource page. You have a sweat rate calculator right there. All you have to do is weigh yourself dry before, weigh yourself dry after, document how much fluid you've consumed during that window of time, don't empty your bladder, and you've got your accurate sweat rate given the temperature, the intensity, and the duration. So let's look at the mental aspects. Well, Rob, I'm afraid I'm going to dehydrate myself. Okay, well, now that you know what your sweat rate is, you can put together a hydration strategy. Rob, I'm afraid I'm going to cramp. Well, that's an electrolyte issue. It could be water and or putting too much load on the tissue, but for the sake of this conversation, let's say that you're truly concerned that you're going to go into spasm. Well, if you drink my energy fuel, and this is not a sales pitch on energy fuel, but the energy fuel has an extra serving of electrolytes added to it. Why? Because we know that that's what you're going to lose in the form of sweat. What about the idea that we may overheat? Well, that is something that we want to look at in a much broader spectrum, and that is, what can we do to decrease your percentage of body fat? If you look at the fact that you have skin, then you have body fat, fascia, then you get into the muscle area. If we can decrease that percentage of body fat, we can make you more efficient at dissipating heat. You don't have to worry about overheating. There's just a multitude of ways that you can look at it, but I really want, for the sake of this video and its original subject, what is the mental aspect associated with a warm-up? Well, as you can see, we've taken apart every one of the concerns and just simply provided a solution. And that's what I want to leave you with here in this video today. When we're looking at the questions of fear, I always want you to ask yourself, what is it that you're afraid of? And then what's the solution for it? So when we look at something like dehydration, you have a checks and balance. If we're looking at cramping, you have a checks and balance. If we're looking at the fear of overheating, you have a checks and balance. Now, it's never a stagnant, it's not a one and done, check it off the box. As you become physically fitter, you have more muscle and less body fat, it actually puts a bigger burden on your sweat rate because it's easier for you to sweat, which means you lose more fluid and more electrolytes. As you become fitter and physically stronger, you're going to be burning up more electrolytes through muscle contraction. So there is a higher level of responsibility that comes with an improvement in physical fitness. It's not a bad thing. And that's why I wanted to put this video together. When you look at the mental aspects of fear, ask yourself, what is it that you're afraid of? Cramping, overheating, dehydrating. What's the solution? Here's a couple of resources, all of which are in the description box below. You've now fixed the problem. Now, I don't say that to be disrespectful, condescending, snide at all. It's about the idea that I am always fascinated as a psychologist in the health and wellness and performance world. I'm always fascinated with where does fear stem from. And that's why I wanted to take apart the warm-up as a very easy illustration for everybody. Ask yourself, what is it that you're afraid of? And what can we do to break it down and solve it? If you happen to have a question similar to this, hey, what is fear? Where does it stem from? You have a question, anything under the sun that may be stumping you or something that you have found on the internet is pretty convoluted, please feel free to reach out to me and my team. We'd love to answer your questions. contact@coachrob.com. The number of email questions that are coming in every week escalate week over week, and I'm forever thankful for that. We're putting up a video every day here on YouTube, so as long as the questions come in, we're going to keep putting these videos out to answer your questions. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.